and welcome to WoW Time Fun's Hearthstone. Um, Today we are going to be talking about, we're going to be playing some, and I'm really excited the new expansion is still fresh, and with a new expansion means a fresh meta, and it's still not out long enough now to where the meta's set. They're still constant changing, people are finding ways around things. Um, but let's talk about one of the biggest things, cards that are coming in and how the meta has actually changed. Classes that weren't hit by like losing cards as hard was was Warlock with their Zoolock decks and things like that. They still got a really good deal out of it because of the fact there was the introduction of some really good cards for them, ranging from Possessed Villager, Forbidden Ritual, and the biggest one, a Darkshire Councilman's a 1/5 for 3 mana. Now that doesn't sound great, but he gains 1 attack anytime a minion summon. And anybody who plays Zoolock or anybody who's played against it knows they run a lot of 1 mana cost minions. And then Forbidden Ritual also gets you that many minions. So for every minion you summon, he's out. You play him at 5 mana, he's a 3/5 if you finish it off with Forbidden Ritual and get 2/1/1. On top of being really good with Possessed Villager because that gets you +1 attack, and then its Death Rattle gets you +1 attack. Possessed Villager has seen high use for being such a good card. It is basically just a let me think of the name of it. The little 1/1 with Divine Shield. I cannot remember the name of her. Anyways, though, he's basically one of those. Argent Squire. There we go. Basically one of those. A 1/1. He can attack twice. You can power overwhelming. He combines really well with that. To power overwhelm, trade, and then you immediately get a 1/1 right back. So Zoolock is still highly effective in this meta, and that's just because of the fact I think it's like Magic. An aggro deck usually stays, some form of an aggro deck stays in meta. You can't crush aggro decks because you kind of need them, but at the same time they do kind of get annoying. But it did kind of stay the same. One of the big things about Zoolock though with the introduction of Cthulhu is a lot of people are running the Cthulhu cards because what they'll do is run 1 or 2 of these right here, or here, and burst you down, and then may let Cthulhu come in and try to finish you off. And that's a really scary card. Cthulhu is a 6/6 that battle crowds deal damage equal to the minion's attack, randomly split among all enemies. So basically, um, I mean, it's an amazing battle cry. That's why a lot of people play him for the battle cry. He's so easy to get up high. I mean, most of the minions that you get with this expansion that buff and play really well on curve. So, for instance, a 2/3 for 2 that gives him +2/+2. The Twilight Elders a 3/4 for 3 that gives it +1 at the end of each turn. And then a 4/2 with Divine Shield and gives him +2/+2. And then there are some bigger minions that I don't have at the moment, but there are bigger minions out there that give him more. There are even ones that bring him back from the graveyard, which doesn't see as much play, but it does see play right there. Doomcaller gives it +2/+2 and then brings it back from the dead. And then there's Twin Emperor. If he's a 10/10, you get 2 4/6s with taunt. So of course that's seen in a lot of play. And pairing up with that greatly is Brand Bronzebeard with his Battlecry trigger twice. So any of these Cthulhu cards that you play are going to trigger. So instead of getting 2/2, it gets 2/+2/+2, +2/+2. Another card that pairs really well with it, I forgot to mention, was the Disciple of Cthulhu. It's a 3 mana 2/1, which doesn't sound that great, but you do deal 2 damage as soon as he comes out, and your Cthulhu gets 2/2. So if you play this with a Brand's Bronzebeard, you're dealing 4 damage and giving Cthulhu +4/+4. So let's see how hard it is to get to a 10/10. It's not. You play with Brand's Bronzebeard, you play it, and then you go. Let me get off crafting here. And then you go Brand's Bronzebeard, and then you go Reckoner of Evil, 6/6, 8/8, 10/10. Bam, right there, 10/10. You have a 10/10 Cthulhu right there. And then you can get the 4/6 with taunt. But that has brought in some cards. They changed Big Game Hunter. They raised its mana by 3, by 2, making it a 5/4/2. But that never changed. That did not change the amount of play this card has seen. I still run it. It's a great Cthulhu killer. I mean, it's just there's so many minions out there that are over 7/7. I mean, Shaman get a card now that's a 4 mana cost 7/7. That's kind of a big deal. a 7/7 at 4. Next turn you can immediately BGH it. Granted that uses your BGH, but it does get rid of a 7/7 for 4. So there's a lot of um, cards that stayed in meta, and there's one that's kind of working its way in. I've seen it a good bit now, and that is Black Knight, and that is because of the fact that there is the 4/6 with taunt. It gets rid of one of those right off the bat, and there's also a Druid card, the Darker Oak. I mean, it's a 5/7 for 6. It gives your Cthulhu 3/3. So another big target for big Black Knight. So you are seeing a lot of that. You're actually seeing more Death Rattle decks now too. A lot of people didn't know if Death Rattle decks were going to be. Well, I don't want to say they didn't think they were going to be viable. I mean, it just you didn't plan on seeing them as much. But with the introduction of N'Zoth, you are seeing a lot of Death Rattle decks. Oh my God, there's people trying out Alexstrasza with mages running spell after spell almost for spell. So there's a lot of spell heavy decks, Miracle Rogue, things like that. Um, so there's a lot of new stuff you can mess with. There's the new Paladin deck, which relies a lot on this card right here to just summon small minions, give them Divine Shield, and then just work your way up buffing them. I mean, it's so hard for a paladin, or it's so easy for a paladin to take a 1/1 and turn it into a 2/3, a 3/4. I mean, it can go from a 2/3, a 4/1. I mean, 4/1 with a Divine Shield, a 5/5. It's just so easy, and this just gave it a real. You're like, okay, they've got a 1/1 with Divine Shield. I need to take it out because I know in a paladin it can become a 5/5 next turn, or so forth and so on and so forth. So it's pretty cool. So there's been a lot of paladins running that and a lot of other 1 health minions. Um, but the main thing that's changed is people messing with Cthulhu. There are, I think, so many different possibilities with Cthulhu. I mean, some people have full on Cthulhu decks, and then you have people like the Zulok that run the Cthulhu. Well, that's weird. That run Cthulhu kind of in the mix of Zoo, and there's all kinds of it. I mean, he's one of the biggest. He's what people are trying to get used to, and I gotta be honest, I am kind of getting annoyed of seeing him. Um, because I'm not gonna say necessarily that it's overpowered because a Cthulhu deck isn't necessarily overpowered because it does take time to get to the Cthulhu, and you do have to hold out till turn 10. But there is just the way the minions on Cthulhu decks play so hard on curve, they can be annoying if you're not careful. Like they are 90% of the time more annoying than anything because especially against certain decks where you can't flood the board because they have mass board clear, or you can't you're having to play around on top of playing around like all the other board clear they could possibly have. You also have to play around a ticking time bomb that's ever growing. You have to. Maybe you wouldn't trade for a 3/4, but the fact that 3/4 is giving this one minion +1/+1 at the end of a turn, you have to trade for it. So it makes the game shift paces a little bit because against a Cthulhu deck, you are pretty much against you're a race against time. So like if you get down to like 15 health and your board is clear and it's turn 10 and their Cthulhu is a 17/17, you're right at the edge of your seat thinking I'm probably going to die this turn. And that's kind of cool because it does make it change the way you play. You have to decide like, okay, I need to run the BGH because if Cthulhu comes out and I don't die from it, I need something to immediately get rid of the Cthulhu to end the threat. The Cthulhu himself is not a terrifying threat. He's a 10/10, and if he comes out with a 20/20, usually you have some form of removing it. It's that battle cry that you're trying to run against. So you might think to yourself, okay, if I'm a priest, I might run flash heals, or I might run a light well or two, or a what else? Let's see, of course, Holy Novas, but you might run the flash of lights, or you might run some healing cards to make it better. There's one Cthulhu card out. I don't think I have it that when it gets played, it heals you for the amount of enemy minions. So if they've got a full board and you're running low on health, you might go, okay, maybe I need to run something to keep me alive. So, for instance, in my Paladin deck, this is a Reno Jackson deck, a very basic Reno Jackson deck that I've made, but I run things. I don't have much healing in it, but I do have the True Silver Champion, which heals me for 4, and I run, I think, one. No, I don't run one, but I have the Reno Jackson. Cthulhu made me kind of want to run Reno Jackson a little more, make a Reno Jackson deck, just off the fact that he is a full heal. So, like, if I'm down to 10 health and I'm like, they've got a Cthulhu and the Cthulhu's a 17-17, I'll play Reno Jackson. I need to put in Forbidden Healing. I'll throw out Reno Jackson, heal to full. That way, the next turn, their Cthulhu doesn't hit me as hard. It'll still hit hard, but it buys you time. So against the Cthulhu decks, you are in a race against time. That's why aggro decks still do pretty decent against Cthulhu decks, is because they're constantly doing damage. They're not thinking, they're not doing the whole trading as much because they do have the high burst potential. So it really has changed the way the game is played. There's still a lot of people messing with it, trying to figure out if this Cthulhu deck works or this one doesn't. I think Warriors got kind of the short end of the deal when it comes to Cthulhu decks. And it could just be me, but the only real card they got them go with Cthulhu is Shield Bearer, which I guess it's a good card. It's 10 armor if your Cthulhu's a 10-10, which we've proven is easy to do. But like you compare it to if your Cthulhu has 10 attack, restore 10 health to your hero. That's basically like giving 10 health, or I guess in a sense gaining 10 armor. I just don't much care for it as much. I don't know. I just don't like the 10 armor. 10 armor is better because you can't add on to it, but it's just one of those things that, you gain 5 health, it becomes a 4-10. They got a pretty good minion. I don't know. I think that maybe when it comes to Cthulhu cards, they kind of got the of it. I think some decks didn't even get Cthulhu cards. I'm not 100% sure. But it's like I said, it's changing. People are finding different plays. This card's seen a lot of play. Darkshire Alchemist. It pairs really nicely with the deal damage. When you're healing spells, deal damage. It's 5 damage for 5. It's not bad. Plus you get a 4/5 minion out of it, or it's 5 health for 5. It's kind of like a weaker mini heal bot, but it's still good. There's just so much. Death Rattle decks are a thing because of the fact that Nazoth, like I said, he's in there. Death Rattles come right back. It's kind of hard to get rid of all that at once. Dragon decks have also gained a huge boost. With Deathwing the Dragon Lord, I run a Dragon Priest deck, and for 12-12, if he doesn't get silenced, if somebody's like 12-12 puts an immediate threat on the board, so you're like, okay, I have to take care of that 12-12, but they don't know that maybe in your hand you have a 6-6, a 4-12, and another 12-12, and I don't have my Alexstrasza in there, but you run enough dragons. Let's take out one of these. Let's go ahead and put her in there, actually. I just got to thinking about it. Let's go ahead and put her on in. Oh, Alexstrasza is in there. Oh, my bad. So I guess I can't put in the other in too. My bad. Oh well. But, you get a 12-12, a 4-12, an 8-8, a 6-6. Any dragons that are in your hand are coming out to play if you get rid of this one threat. So this one threat opens up 1, 2, 3, 4 possible threats that you might not be able to deal with the exact same turn. And that's going to do a lot of damage to you if you don't have a open board. So it's really good that with this new thing, the meta is changing. It's still shifting. Cards are falling into place. Some cards are falling out. Some are falling in. Some are like, this one ain't as good as we thought. Let's not run it. Some are like, well, this one is great, better than we thought. Let's run it for sure. So there's a lot of possibility and a lot of change still coming. So it's pretty interesting to see what will happen when it finally does settle. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of play around with this Reno Paladin deck I made. In no way is it great, but the whole point of it, there's a good bit of card draw in here. And the reason is because I need a Reno Jackson in my hand. There's actually a lot of really good minions in here, like decent minions. Um, but it's Arena Paladin, and that's what we're gonna play with. This video is gonna run a little bit longer than, well, not about the same as our average videos, just because of this fact we were talking about, the new meta, the new update. I forgot to talk about Wild. Wild is something I have not played. I have not played Wild. I've actually disenchanted a good bit of my Wild cards because I don't like Wild. I didn't like a lot of the cards in Wild. Um, that sounds terrible, but I just didn't like Wild. I didn't. I didn't like most of the deck when like Wild switched over to Wild, like before it was Wild, before like I guess when it was considered standard. A lot of the decks in that really just were not. I played a deck of it. I played a Secret Paladin, but there was just like the same few decks, and it's just like I don't want to risk going Wild and playing those. I mean, I might test it out, but I'm not gonna go. But we're actually gonna do the Tavern Brawl today. Excuse me. All right. So you get to pick two cards. What if you go? Two cards. What if you go? Here we go. Trying to think of what I need. What would be funny? What would be good? Because I'm pretty sure this is all spells. So we can go. Ice Lance? Oh, you only get two cards in Frostbolt. Ice Lance and Frostbolt sound good? Done? Yeah, we'll do that. Ice Lance and Frostbolt. We're gonna freeze people for days or die drastically. I don't know. What about Ice Lance Alexstrasza? Well, no, because they wouldn't stay. Well, yeah, they would, but you wouldn't start out at 10 mana, so that's the problem. Innervate, or Innervate Wild Growth on Druid, just to never have a card. Perfect. Oh my. Okay, so not a single Frostbolt. This is gonna be fun. That's actually a pretty good hero to choose. Let's see what he chooses. If he chooses like a 1 health card, we're just gonna be able to keep it frozen the whole game. So Tiny Finn, Tiny Finn, Tiny Finn. Okay, that's funny. That's pretty funny. But let's go ahead and kill that. That was a really weird choice. 246. I mean, I guess it's not a bad choice actually. I mean, shit. We're gonna have to ping again. I think Ice Lances were a bad choice. If he draws another one, I'm gonna be kind of sad. I hope he gets another Tiny Fin. Ice Lance Flame Strike. Just keep wiping out his board. I don't think this is gonna work. I think he's gonna be at 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah. Yeah, he wins. Well, I can freeze all of that if I choose so to do so. All right, we're gonna tweak this a minute. I just got an ingenious idea. There was no way. That was crazy. Played 3 minions. All right, let's get rid of the Frostbolt. Edit. Okay, let's get rid of the Frostbolt. And let's go with Arcane Missiles. Maybe that's better. Brawl. Because that way, if you come across somebody putting the little low-cost minions like that, you actually have a way to destroy most of them. It's not me. So let's see how this goes. This is kind of a cool Tavern Brawl, I'm not going to lie. This is pretty interesting on their part. Oh, that's a good start, because I'm pretty sure a Hunter's going to start out with like, oh, look at my 1-cost minion. Let's go ahead and drop 2 of the Ice Lances. Let's try to get Arcane Missiles across the board. Alright, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We can do 2 out of 3. Can we? We can. We will. I'm just gonna end turn. Let him make the first play. I could do say 3 damage, but I would prefer not to. I want to see what he plays. So I bet he plays Fiery Bat. Nope, there's coin. Oh, I was right. Fiery Warbat, Fiery Warbat. Knew that was coming. Alright. So now we know what his deck consists of. Oh, never mind. The good thing about him running low-cost minions like that, like low-health minions, is Arcane Missiles is going to wreck 1-1. So if he plays another one, boom, 1-1. Whatever. We can kill that too. We can do this. Three 1-1s. I bet he's running Kill Command. I feel like that's his other card. Because that's like a pretty decent combo. So if he Kill Commands me. Oh, a secret. Secret Fiery Warbat. Okay. Alright, in that case, we can just... I'm pretty sure we actually have him if his secret Fiery Warbat. Maybe not, though. I mean, he's guaranteed to do 1 damage per turn. Alright. There we go. Woo! Got our pack. Alright. I'm clicking to continue. Destroy them all. Alright, let's try it again. Nope. Edit. Hold the phone. We are going to delete. We've already won one, so we're going to delete. We're going to go to Druid. Choose Innervate. Alexstrasza. Oh. Can you not run Innervate? There we go. Or would Wild Growth be better? Hmm. 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 Well, let's try it. We will probably die before. Sorry if you can hear me drinking. Alright. We'll probably die before Alexstrasza even hits the board, but I just get the feeling of having like 2, 4, 6, 8, like 3 Innervates. 2, 4, 6. On turn 2 in Alexstrasza. So if I get 2 Innervates, 3 Innervates in Alexstrasza. Got 2, and I'm going first. So, okay. Let's try this. Nice. Can you get multiple Alexstrazzas? Like, will it draw me multiple? 2, 4, 6. And I'll have 2 mana, 2, 4, 6. Okay, yeah, we're good. Alright, let's see what he runs. Coin. Mirror Image. And Arcane Missiles. Well, okay. So, we win, right? Like, we win. 2, 4, 6, 8. Boom. Well, I don't know. He's got a bunch of mirror images, so that's a lot of taunts I'm going to have to go through. I mean, that's 4 taunts I have to go through. But the thing is, though, is he's going to empty his hand. That is a very lucky, Plus, she was 8 mana cost for some reason. But that is true, so we hope actually that more of those hit face. 1, 2, 3. This guy's very lucky with his arcane missiles. Come on. Him face. 2, 3. Oh my god, this guy's so lucky. What the hell? It's okay. We'll just save our innervates. I still feel like his chances of winning diminish because he is able to empty his hand. And he's only allowed 7 taunts at a time. So he can do 4 damage per turn. I can, well, 3 damage per turn. We have 6, 7, 8. We need another innervate next turn, actually. We need to draw another innervate. We have 2 Alexstraszas. We need an innervate. That's not a bad idea. I mean, that's a wall of taunt that's hard to really get through. Well, that doesn't help me at all. But we're slowly chipping away at his taunts for the big Alexstrasza. So if he gets another arcane missiles, we might actually be in pretty good shape. We'll have 7, 8, 9. Do. Okay, we're actually in pretty good business here. I mean, we have Alexstraszas. I don't think he can kill me. Can he? Can he kill me? I don't think so. I have 3 Alexstraszas. Where are my innervates? He can't kill me. Like, he cannot kill me. Well played. I mean, there's no way he can kill me. At all. 3 damage per thing. I'm always going to be able to set my health right back at 15, so... And he knows once turn 9 goes around, like, it's nothing but Alexstrasza. So well played. Well played to you, sir. I'm surprised he has not conceded. I give him props for not conceding. He's like, my mirror images will protect me from your army of Alexstraszas. So this has got to go on the highlight reel. Like if I'm tempted to submit this to like a highlight reel and be like, look at this. That's 2 8/8s. 3 8/8s. 4, 5 8/8s. I mean, we're gonna have a board of 8/8s, even if all of those hit. Well played. I think we're gonna go ahead and call this one over. Thanks for tuning in to the video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out. We have a Twitter. Check us out on there. Until next time, we'll see you.